wasn't much they could have done about those, but once again it was the experience down there of the Saints that got those goals on the board, and I think South, if they lose this game, can look back and think there's where we lost it. As we've got bounced down at the start of the second quarter, and once again the Saints are on the burst immediately as it goes towards Brendan Redslap there. He's knocked over for his troubles. It's Watson there gets the ball out in the direction of Hodel there, who came in on the ball, couldn't pick it up. Sheriff Carl's run into a hell of a traffic jam there, and he can't do much with it, and I reckon there's about 15 players around that as Hodel with strength comes out with the ball there. There's a bit of a to-do on behind play. Nothing much to get worried about there as the ball goes towards half forward, and Desi Danson there has not been sighted, and I was told that he was a real electrifying player, but he's not too keen to chase, I can tell you that, as the ball goes down to Darren O'Brien. He's taking the mark at centre half forward, and he's up and away, and by gee, there's some numbers in that Saints forward line, and this is a bad sign for the Tigers. The ball's kicked in there, and Troy Shepherd getting under the ball there for the Saints, and he's taken the mark, and he'd only be 30 or 25 metres out from goals, maybe a bit more than that, say about 28 metres out, as drizzle starts to fall, and this would certainly suit Collie more because they've got the score on the board, and if we get a little bit of rain here, it makes the conditions a little bit more difficult. As Troy Shepherd shoots on goals, he won't quite have the legs. Greg Jones at the front of the pack there. Once again, all the time, Greg Jones is in front and Todd Waldrott coming from the back, and that's not good policy by South, because when you've got the man in front, you only need one in the air as the ball goes out in the direction of McGinley. He gives away another free kick to Alan Michael there, and I think the Tigers would have to be looking there to make a bit of a change, Ray.
Yes, what's that, about the third or fourth?
Fourth free kick he's given away.
So it's Alan Michael now from backward of half, left half forward into the full forward area he goes, but the mark has been taken down there by Danny Platts. He's going to switch play as he comes around now, gets the big kick in. Into the centre it'll go. Who's it to? Only player there is Bruce Jackson. He's been paid the mark. Vic Theos coming in late on the scene as Jackson now feigns a hand pass, then runs away. Up onto the half-forward line goes the Jackson kick. All the South Bunbury players up at the bottom of the pack was Ian Cale. He's gathered it. Onto that half-forward line it goes. In front was David Hollins, and he's been paid the mark. They're playing from behind the South Bunbury forwards.
And one short as well, Ray. I don't know what's happening down there, but certainly not working for them.
Well, there goes the Hollands kick up the centre half forward, thumped away in defence. At the base of the pack there was Hetherington. He couldn't gather it. In goes Massara. He's been a damaging player for the Saints. Up he goes. Coming out in defence was Waldrott. He overran the ball, gathered by Hayward, screws it back over the shoulder. Minor score only. The result, however, for the Saints, they've moved to 5-7 and lead South Bunbury 1-1. Well, they're still under pressure. Pardon me. That defence of South Bunbury at the moment, as it's Jones puts it out wide. The mark taken on the far side of the ground out there by John Sofield. Sofield from half-back flank now for the Tigers. On the centre wing goes the kick. Players in the front position was Michael. He's reading it very well out there at the moment, having a field day as he gathers. Handballs further afield looking for Slater. Over the line it goes, however, out of bounds on that left half forward flank. Collie still in attack, and the bounding throw in to take place.
And not a great deal of chance of South scoring here, Ray, when you consider there's nothing across the centre of the ground there. They're all working down in their defence there. As the ball socket in the direction of Waldrott, he's got Kenny Hayward, and he's like, gee, he wants a week to pick it up, and he's certainly put Platts under pressure there, but he's smart enough to force it over the line and out of bounds, about 10 metres around from the Saints' goal.
There's 4 South Bunbury players backward of the centre. How do you kick goals when it comes down there,
Yes,
Gary?
and the Saints have also got that double banking line there too. If the ball does get kicked out here with any sort of a kick, they're going to snap it up as if it's Christmas, as Jeff Davidson. South didn't want to grab it there. Jeffrey Davidson did. He got it down the direction of Ware, who hooks back it towards goal, but Greg Jones there in front of Kenny Hayward, and he's taken the mark. Well, I don't think he's in any hurry to get rid of this ball because there's nothing on offer down there as McGinley leads up from the wing and takes the mark, but he's back in backward of half back, and he's forced to kick down in the direction of Anderson there. McDonald forces the ball away from him, and it's been forced over the line, out of bounds. Left centre wing for the Saints. Well, certainly South look very disorganised and disinterested at the moment. I think they need a couple of quick goals to lift them a bit, but I think the Saints are playing by far the better football at the moment as Heidel grabs the ball, and he's starting to gather a few possessions, but he's forced just to kick on the left foot, and Gerard Graham, you would have thought he was a full forward the way he came out there, but here we go again. There's 3 Collie defenders, 1 South forward. You know he's going to win the ball, don't you, as Gerard Graham takes the ball, kicks towards half-back here. Neil Jackson, 10 metres away from his opponent there in Upson. He takes the mark at centre half back. He kicks towards the wing here. Mark will be up here in this contest, but can't take the mark. Greg O'Brien does a bit of good work there as Massara plays on his nap, but he's able to get the ball into direction of Hollins, who spears the ball in, and by gee, he's playing a good game at half back as he gets it to Luke Ware. Luke Ware has been put down for his troubles, and he'll take a free kick and 15 metres to boot. and another 15, and that was ridiculous play. South Bunbury, 2 players on the mark, and it really is showing their inexperience here. They had 2 players on the mark, and neither one of them wanted to shift, and rightly so. 15 metres meted out. Luke, we're now on the 50-metre line. A bit too far out to score, I feel, and he'll look for something on the lead here, or bang in long and hope for Davidson or Hayward. A free kick down there. Kenny Hayward, or moved in and just tried to unsettle somebody's footwear there, right?
Yes.
Yes, is the player down there to take the free kick is Roddy Steele. Doing pretty well for the Tigers, but they're just kicking high and hoping. And we got 3 on 1 again, Ray?
Yes, it's the same old story, and of course Collie are winning out every time as it's now scooped out to the pack. Hetherington there, he can't go with it. It's gathered now by Platts. Now he kicks it out wide. Hollands will be first to the ball here, in front of his opponent there in Bennell, and has taken the easy mark. Immediately goes for the short distance pass into Neil Jackson, and they're still all in that the Collie forward line, South Bunbury. There's 1, 2, 3 players now backward of the centre, or Bennell and Dan's now realise that where they should be playing is it's on the half-back line. McGinley gathers it. He can't gather the ball. Sockers it further afield, then butters up for a second go. He's sockered at about 60 metres. Oh, what's this soccer? As he comes in again for the third effort. Another soccering tactic from McGinley. He's put it out of bounds midway between right centre wing and right half forward for the Tigers. It's on the regional hospital side of the ground. Steele in the front position, gets it down. There's no rovers there for South Bunbury. In goes Troy Shepherd. Down goes Troy Shepherd, and he's going to be awarded the free kick.
Yes.
Was it? No? Is it? Yes, he is.
They're getting the free kicks, Ray, but the only ones interested in being in front.
That's right.
Shepherd goes infield with a kick, and by gee, that's pretty slack, as Hetherington was out in the lead there, and he was half pace and was easily able to take that mark as Neil Jackson came up from half back, but this might bring them undone a little bit as Markwell, although he's forced to kick in a bit of a hurry up in the direction of Ian Bennell, and South have got the mark about 75 metres around from goal as Bennell, a shocking kick in towards Anderson there, and this will bounce straight into the arms of the Saints, and here they come again, ladies and gentlemen, off that half-back line. Although the handball wasn't that good, Darren O'Brien's good enough to get back in there and lay a boot on it and sock it out of his own defensive line, and Mark will chips a kick in towards Heidel. It's not good enough as Dans moves in on the ball. By gee, he's got around that tackle pretty well as he drops onto his right boot, and he's put one forward for the Tigers, and there's goal number 2 to the Tigers. Desi Dans has finally snared one, and they certainly needed that, the Tigers, as they move to 2-2, trailing in the Saints 5-7.
First time we've seen Desi dance for the game, and he's put one on the board with a much-needed goal to South Bunbury. As you said, that didn't seem to be much purpose in that forward line, not much organisation at present.
Yes, well, that's one that they've desperately been seeking, that FAI Car Owners Mutual scoreboard. 2-1 South Bunbury, 5-7 the Saints. Back into the centre for the bounce down. It'll be Steele and Jackson once again. There hasn't been any change to that as Sofield and Slater employ a bit of niggling tactics. As a big thump away from Steele, straight to O'Brien. However, his kicked spiral torpedo up to half forward, thumped away in defence down there by the player for them in Darren Fraser. It's the other player, Fraser in Rick, that gathers it out of the defensive zone into the centre where the mark has been taken by McGinley. He immediately lays it off to Pios. Pios has gone wide. Ian Bennell's got away from Hollands. Kenny picked the ball up. It bounces kindly for him, then goes one way, then the other, gives the hand pass back to Markwell. He slips the tackle. In at the last moment came Chad McElroy. He's given the bounce and a bit of body work to young Markwell. He's down but not out. Up he gets, and it's out of bounds on that left half forward flank for the Tigers.
Bit of play acting there, Ray. He never got touched.
No system into attack whatsoever, as it's McElroy. Gets the tap down. Clinton Pike's there. Too long to get rid of the ball. He's tackled, but Collie forced it out for the weight of numbers. Through comes Markwell. He ran into a brick wall. Gathered now by Massara. Up onto the wing position it goes. Back of the pack was Redslap. Couldn't quite take the mark. He has time to recover, however. Lay it off with the hand pass to Slater. He's given Pios to slip. Back to Massara. They're backing up. They're doing everything well at the moment as Massara up into the direction of Kenny Hayward. Too far in front of the player in Waldron, and has taken the easy chest mark.
Look at this.
Hayward, look at it, slipping into the open spaces here was Darren O'Brien. The defence of South Bunbury at the moment is in a complete and utter shambles.
Not only the defence, Ray, their forward line is probably worse.
It's Darren O'Brien now, about 25 metres out, a 60-degree angle, lines up on goal. This looks pretty good. This looks pretty good. Straight through to centre. Number 6 on the board to the Saints as they move on the FAI Car Owners Mutual scoreboard to 6 goals 7, leading South Bunbury 2 goals 1.
Sell it fast at Rumans & Co. Auctioneers. Buy a bargain at a rock-bottom price. Rumans & Co. Auctioneers have got all household items and the kitchen sink, and they'll hammer it out for less for you. Don't miss the action auctions at Rumans & Co. Forest Avenue, Bunbury.
The match of the day is presented by Rumans & Co. Auctioneers on Golden West Radio.
6 goals 7 Collie, 2 goals 1 South Bunbury, and let's hope we're not going to see another runaway win as it still gets it down into the Sofield direction. The high floating kick onto the half-forward line. Underneath it is David Anderson in front of McDonald on that occasion, and he's taken the mark. Has gone for the short distance pass further afield, and the mark has been taken on the far side of the ground, 50 metres out from goal by young Jeff Ayres. Well, he can kick a ball a long way. He's got the breeze behind him. He's on the right side of the ground. Let's see what he can do with this one. As there goes the kick from Ayres deep into the pocket. I think it's off line. It is. Minor scored a result, so South moved to 2-2, trailing Collie, 6 goals 7.
Ray, I think South would want to answer that goal very smartly, because if they don't, I reckon they're going to be in a heap of bother as Hollands brings the ball away towards half-back in the direction of Neil Jackson. He's being hotly pressed by his opponent there in Upson. He can't do anything with it as the ball's forced out towards Jackson again. He's been called on to do quite a deal of work here, but he does it pretty well as he kicks in towards the direction of Brendan Retzlaff. Then, by gee, he got Wolf over his trouble as Carl comes down from half-back, kicks on the left foot in direction of Hoddle, and you can back him in here as Hoddle comes out and takes the mark. And he'd be 50 metres out from goals, the skipper of the Tigers. They've got nothing back there, so I think he's got to go for it as he kicks in towards full forward. Hare's up from behind here. Gets high into the air, can't take the mark, but by gee, recovered pretty well to bottle it up down there as Clinton Pike tries to do something with it. Comes out in the direction of McGinley. He's snapped on goal. He's away to the right. And the Tigers go to 2-3. The Saints lead the Tigers 6-7, plays 2-3, and he should have done a little bit better than that because he had a little bit of time. Couldn't quite bring it back enough. Nonetheless, it's down there, I suppose, and that's something for the Tigers. Jared Graham, he'll bring the ball towards the grandstand side here as he kicks out in the direction of Bruce Jackson there. He's up in opposition to Pios, but Pios, better judgment, held his ground, and Victor Pios has taken the mark. Hasn't been in the game too much as yet as Hares. By gee, leads out a little bit too early, I think. Pios, he'll go for the big torpedo. Oh, it's not the best of torpedoes though, as he's mungled it in towards full forward, and the ball snuffed away by Jared Graham, and it makes the defender's job very easy when it comes in there like that, and it's out of bounds left full forward for the Tigers.
Try to kick the bladder out of it.
The bladder, Lofty. Well, he was trying to do something, but it didn't work as the ball's thrown in there just 15 metres around a steel high. Gets a good tap away, but can't find his rover. And Ian Massara, who's been very effective there as he takes the ball, kicks towards half back there. Johnny Sofield, who's kept Slater under wraps there, has got him under pressure. Greg O'Brien's tossed away from it there as it goes to Markwell. He'll want his left foot. As he decides he'll go by hand as the best option as Sofield gets the ball onto the left foot, kicks in towards half forward. Anderson there, got the handball over if he can get it. Can't do so now. It's with McGinley. He was taken there without the ball. No free kick, however. The umpires are letting it roll, and that's the way it should be in a grand final. As Mucky McDonald tries hard to get the boot into the ball there, can't do so. And we've got a stuck-up of players about 25 metres out from goal, and umpire Nettleton says, I'll have it, as Hoddle gives it to him, and we'll have a bounce down.
About 25 metres out from the Tigers' goal. It's 2-3 to 6-7. Steele up with a big booming punch, but there's no one there for the Tigers. This allows the Shepparton. He gets the hand pass away into the Massara direction. I tell you what, he's been a quietly effective player as Massara. On that occasion, his kick is astray as it's fallen into the hands of Pios. What's he done? Kicked it straight back to Massara. As Massara goes in, he can't quite control it. It trickles over the boundary line out of bounds. Ian Bennell disputing the decision with the boundary umpire, but I know who'll win, and it'll be thrown back into play.
Yes, I think that's typical of South's forward line, Ray. A 5-metre pass, you know.
Yeah. As it's Jackson, the big thump away. This will favour O'Brien. He's got Markwell right on his hammer, and between the two of them, they force the ball over the line out of bounds. And on that left half forward line, the Tigers once again in their attacking zone, but not getting any value out of it whatsoever. 2-3 plays 6 goals 7. Steele in front. McElroy up. Gets it down to O'Brien. He's forced to kick in a hurry. In comes Upson. He can't do anything about it. Or Jackson puts the head down. Into him goes the player in Watson, and the free kick will go to Neil Jackson from that half-back line. Goes in short. Into the centre, Hetherington on the burst as he's gutted it, forced to go for the hand pass as Platts tackled him. In goes Pios, lays it off to McGinley. He gives it by hand to Watson. Here's an opportunity now for the Tigers. Has he tried to beat too many? As he lines up on goal from about 45 metres out, and he has missed.
Gee, well, about 85 yards, Ray, I'd say.
Yeah.
At a minimum.
It's South now frittering away opportunities to get themselves back into this game as they move to 2-4. Trail Collie 6-7 as the kick-off by Graham is a good one too. Thump further afield there by Upson. The base of the pack for the Saints is Clinton Pike. First forced to go to the hand pass into the Luke Ware direction. He's dispossessed. Back in goes Ware as he gathers it. All the time in the world, no one giving him any pressure as he lays it off by hand to McDonald. He's got any amount of options he likes, so what does he do? Kicks it straight across the ground to no one in particular. But they've got the numbers there as Graham runs onto the ball now. He goes up the boundary line, the centre wing, where it's O'Brien and Markwell getting mixed up. Back of the pack there is Ian Massara. He's gutted it for the Saints. Davidson's got away from Jones as he has taken the mark about 40 metres out on a 60-degree angle. Well, they had any amount of options there to Neil McDonald, and he put it straight across the ground. It's come off, however. He goes in short to Upson, thumped away in defence there by Waldrop. In at the last moment comes Ricky Fraser. Over the boundary line it goes out of bounds, and in the right full forward pocket for the Saints, the boundary throw in to take place.
Free kick, Ray, was over the line on the full.
Darren O'Brien it will be. So the South have had it in their attacking zone for about the last 5 or 6 minutes. Collie are up here now, and I suppose they'll get a goal out of this. As there goes a left foot kick from O'Brien. That is an absolute stir. He's missed it. Wow, I thought that was straight through the centre.
What you were going to say, Ray, that was an absolute ball burster of a point, weren't you?
Yes, that's exactly right. Well, mine has scored the result, 6 goals 8. The Saints move to, and they lead South Bunbury 2 goals 4. Was trying to gather the ball out of the pack there was Anderson, but it goes back to O'Brien. He forces it through to Massara. He's going to be tackled, and it is. Holding the ball to decision, and the free kick to be taken in defence for South Bunbury by Greg Jones. He goes in short to Platts. There's Platts now, the left footer, into the centre. Upson in front of Jackson. As Jackson comes from behind, and he's been paid the mark.
Yes, and all the Tigers want to do is turn around and say, I got a hand on that, sir. But unfortunately, they want to think about recovering, getting back into the event. As the ball's kicked towards half forward there, Luke Ware decides he'll have a soccer forward. And I'll tell you what, Ray, even at early days yet, the things are rolling the Saints' way. And if I'd backed them, I'd be starting to think about depositing that money in the bank, because they're looking pretty good at the moment. Is Len Michael, I tell you what, he could nearly land this, a Becurial type player. Puts the ball onto the left boot, right up towards full forward there. Gee, I tell you what, that's a very casual bit of defence down there. What do you make of that? Every player from South just stood there and watched at it. Kenny Hayward went up, bumped the ball back into play, and as a result, South are very lucky to get away with that. That would be the most casual bit of defence I've ever seen. I thought until the umpire made a decision the game was still in play, and South never read that rule, Ray. The ball thrown in and pumped forward by Steele in the direction of Fraser, but he gets into the back of Troy Shepherd there, but no player can get a handle on it. It's out of bounds right about 20 metres around from the Saints goal. Well, certainly the game is in limbo at the moment. The Saints calling all the shots here as the tapper down goes in the direction of Fraser, who dummies around his opponent there. He's very well shepherded by David Anderson. Then he kicks, oh gee, what a shocking delivery in the forward line as Neil Jackson thinks this is Christmas, and he decides to take on Desi Dans, but Desi has the pace to go with him, but Jackson's got the boys to kick the ball in the direction of Brendan Retzlaff, and he'll do something with the ball, I can guarantee you that, as he kicks it down the direction of Slater.
Oh, come on.
And umpire Saborn, you guessed you was going to mark that, because he never, but you gave it to him. Well, can only blame them for trying, as Luke Ware's got the mark. 70 metres out from goal, he goes in towards full forward. Roddy Steele's camped under this, takes the mark, goes straight on with it. He's kicked that 50 metres into the air, straight onto the chest of Brendan Retzlaff, and I'll tell you where this will go, straight onto the chest of a Saint, as he's found Alan Michael there, and he is he's about 35 metres, 30 metres out from goal, deep in the pocket. I finally think the Tigers have woken up. I think Upson is finally moving down towards that defensive area, but I think it's a week late, Ray.
Yes, I think the horse has bolted, is just trying to pick up who they've got it. Centre half forward now. Jackson's on his own in the centre.
Dan Platt's moving down to centre half forward.
Well, there goes the kick into by Jones out wide. It's going to... O'Brien was there, couldn't take the mark. In goes Steele. As emerging as now is Platts. He can't... Oh, it does get around McElroy on that occasion. Forced to kick down to the Hoddle direction. He thumps it further afield to favour Dans. Can they make something out of this, the Tigers? Dans under a heap of pressure as he fires it into that full forward position. Down there is Hares. He can't do it. It's over the bed. That was out of bounds. Hares now gathers it. He lays it off by hand to Bennell. Bennell can do something here for the Tigers as he lines up. It's thumped through at the last moment by the player down there in McDonald. The ball was out of bounds in that pocket, but not to worry. 2 goals 5 South move to on that FAI Car Owners Mutual scoreboard, and they trail the Saints, Collie, 6 goals 9. There goes the kick back into play by Graham on the far side of the ground where it's out of bounds, and the South Bunbury players getting frustrated. Upson still at centre half forward.
Centre half back now, right?
Now, yes.
Yeah, spin it around.
Yeah, turn it around. Platt's at centre half forward, so let's see whether anything will come of that move. As it's on the half forward line now for the Tigers. The throw-in to take place. Up high was Pios. Gets it away to no one in particular. Emerging was Ware. He lays it off. It's gone to that centre wing position. Good mark. 2 bites of the cherry, and it's been taken by Alan Michael. Michael now had the call over McGinley for this game so far, as there goes the Michael kick onto their half forward line. Dropping back there was Fraser. Was it Fraser? It was Sofield for South Bunbury. He's gone around the corner, and the mark has been taken by Steele. Doesn't know which way to go. Then gives a wobbly looking hand pass into McGinley. Gee, they're running themselves into trouble, the Tigers. McGinley is forced to go up into the air. Luck's a fortune because he's found Desi Dans. Now Watson has got away from an opponent down there. Here's an opportunity for the Tigers as McGinley puts it onto the chest of Craig Watson. He would be 35 metres out directly in front. Boy, do they need one.
Hasn't played badly either, Ray Watson. He's been around about the place.
Craig Watson now as McGinley off the ground. So interesting if you just see who's going to come on for them. As Watson moves in, they need one. Oh, he stabbed at that one. I think he's missed it. He has. 1 point only, so there's another opportunity missed by the Tigers as they move to 2 goals 6, trailing Collie 6 goals 9. Graham is going to go for the short one. No, he doesn't. Goes out in the Brendan Reslap direction. In the front position there was Platts. Couldn't take the mark. Now he can gather it as he's ridden to the deck. The crumbs come the way of Hollands. He lays it off to Reslap. Reslap in a flash up the centre half forward. Back of the pack with Massara. He gathers for the Saints. He's got all the room in the world to move. Fires it deep into that pocket. The last line of defence down there was the player in Darren Fraser. He forces it over the line and out of bounds, and the throw-in to take place. Well, they're not getting anything out of their forwards. Notice it's Steele coming off, so Baden Young. I don't know what your thoughts are in changing these ruckmen on the interchange bench, Gary.
Well, I think it leaves them a little bit embarrassing there at the moment, Ray, because they haven't got a ruckman anywhere. If Dinkui down there is, you're in trouble, son. Gee, here's a goal coming up for the Saints as Ian Massara snaps over the shoulder, and he should have done more than that. That was... the Saints really should have manufactured a lot more out of that. They had 3 players there. They're only 5 metres out from goal, but maybe a lack of talking. As a result, they scored a point, and they go to 6-10, leaving the Tigers 2-6. And I don't know, the Tigers came back pretty well against Kerry Park. I didn't see that game, Ray, but there doesn't seem to be a semblance of a fight back in this little lot. As Jones kicks from full back, and he's gone straight down the centre of the ground, and Kenny Hayward was up and nearly pulled down an easy mark there as it comes out in the direction of Slater. He appeals for the catch, but it's not given as the ball socket forward in the direction of Hoddle. Out comes Bruce Jackson, Neil Jackson, sorry, and he's doing nicely at centre half back as he's put under a little bit of pressure by Platts there, and it's pretty smart play by Danny Platts as he's able to get the kick in there. The ball goes in the direction of Watson. Now it spills free in the direction of Hollands, and he's certainly played a great game on the half-back flank there as he gets around his opponent. Spins out of trouble, gets a hand pass to Jackson, over to O'Brien. Away go the Saints again as it goes in the direction of Jackson. Danny Platts went up for the mark there, but Neil Jackson stood his ground and took a superb mark on the wing, and this could turn into be a pretty good duel because Platts has been playing pretty good at centre half-back, and these very talented players is up in front of the pack is the player there in Hetherington as he plays by hand over in the direction of McElroy. McElroy spears the ball out in the front of Sticks Hayward. He's out in the lead, but Toddy Warrett's with him, and they go over the line, out of bounds, 45 metres around from the Saints goal, and we're well and truly about 2/3 of the way through this quarter, and they'd be pretty happy with things at the moment.
Yes, it's Collie still deep into attack down there. 6 goals, 10 the Saints, 2 goals, 6 South Bunbury, so it's pretty inaccurate. Is trying to come out of the pack there was Anderson, gets the hand pass away into the direction of the player in Jones. He gives it further afield as Hoddle gathers it, looking for Platts. Platts in front of Jackson on this occasion, gets a little bit of treatment and a 15-metre penalty. Yes, I think this could develop into a very, very good duel indeed as Platts doesn't use the 15 metres, goes up to Hares. He's shoved out of it there by Graham, kicked off the ground there by Pike. And good tackle there by the player in McElroy, and on Platts allows Jackson to gather. Bursting through the pack now from the centre of the ground was the player in Anderson, and there's going to be a whistle on play. He didn't see the first one. It's going to be Luke Ware to receive the free kick. As umpires Tino Saborn right onto that. Little bit of byplay after the ball was kicked, and it's going to be Luke Ware, the recipient of the free kick for the Saints. Out wide is Redslap. That's the way you go. Shepherd it is, and Shepherd is, no, it was right the first time. Shepherd then lays it off into the direction of Darren O'Brien. The long hand pass from O'Brien into Alan Michael. They've got loose men everywhere in their forward lines. There goes the Michael kick. Up high, in goes Massara. He's decked for his problems. Ooh, didn't give him much opportunity to get rid of that one.
Oh, he had a week, Ray.
Had a week, did he? Well, that's to see how long your year is.
Yes, he only blinked and he was gone.
Gone. Quick and the dead, as they say.
Yes, well, he didn't really, but he was in a situation there that he had to think pretty quickly, and unfortunately he didn't get much time to think about what he was going to do as Cale nailed him, and he goes towards half-back. Up in the front position is the young player in Darren Murray. They just come onto the ground, can't take the mark. Dick Pios went without the ball, but he comes back into it now and gets his legs taken out from underneath him. There's a young player in Darren Fraser playing pretty well in that back pocket there, kicks the ball in the direction of Baden Young, I think it is, and he's a lumbering type of lad. He takes the mark and then plays on with the kick, and Mucky McDonald's first back on the ball, and he's good enough to get a boot to the ball, kicks towards half-back there. The ball bounces over in the direction of Darren Murray. He goes infield to Anderson. Anderson infield to Pios. Now they can set something here as Pios kicks the ball long, high in towards full forward. Jared Graham out by. Gee, that's fine.
Free kick.
Oh. By gee, I was watching the flight of the ball there. I didn't see that, but it was great defence by Graham. He left his man, came out under Hoddle, and Hoddle was left in a very unenviable position there, sitting under the ball with somebody thundering out, but Peter Hoddle wouldn't move his ground, and he's going to shoot on goal from the Tigers from 45 metres, and they'd certainly need a goal here. Hoddle moves in. The captain coach of the Tigers, he shoots on goal. He's away to the right, I fear. It is, and it's a point to the Tigers, and they move to 2-7, trailing the Saints 6-10.
Well, what's that? They've had 2-7 is 6. They've had 7 scoring shots for 1 goal. As out it comes, looking for the player in Redslap. At the last minute, closing on him was Darren O'Brien, Anderson, and he stumped the ball over the line and out of bounds as McElroy leaves the ground for the Saints. And it's in that left full forward pocket for South Bunbury. The throw-in to take place. Young in the front position, gets it down to where Dans goes. He goes for the hand pass, tries to get around a player, slips over, but can get it through to Watson. Watson goes for the short distance pass, looking for Hares. Here's the ball won away from him by McDonald. He lays it off by hand. Back in there goes Neil Jackson. He's played a crackerjack game this afternoon as Jackson fires it up for some kind bounce there. It's a good one for Michael as he can gather it. Then puts it onto that half-forward line. At the back was Slater. Slater couldn't control it. Ups and running onto it now, playing at centre-half back, and he does it pretty well. Here's a little bit of experience coming through. What's he done with that? Guy's nearly going to give him some experience. He's kicked it right across the ground. This will allow Ken Hayward in. Gives the hand pass through to O'Brien. He goes further afield to Davidson. Davidson, the short pass, looking for Shepherd. Wasn't Shepherd, it was Hetherington. Hetherington gives it to Hayward. Hayward runs into an open goal and bang. As the siren goes to end the first half of the 1987 Grand Final, and Kenny Hayward has been able to pop one through right on the siren for the Saints. So at half-time here at Hands Memorial Oval, South Bunbury 2-7, trail Collie 7-10. Goal scorers to half-time. Ken Hayward has kicked 3, 2 to Jeff Davidson, singles to Alan Michael and Darren O'Brien, and the goal scorers for South Bunbury, Peter Hoddle and Des Dan, and for his comments on that first half of play, once again, Des McNeil.
Well, Collie will be pretty happy going to the rooms for the long break, being very handy lead at present. That wind dropped completely in that quarter. South Bunbury, I would say, would have had 70% of play in their forward line, but could not capitalise on it. Collie would be brimming with confidence, and a few heads down in the South Bunbury camp. It's all in store for a very interesting second half of football. Better players, well, for Collie, the entire 18 on the ground any one time were all put in. I'd say Peter Slater's probably very quiet. He's been well held by John Sofield, but they've got many players backing him up. Neil Jackson, Alan Michael, Ian Massara, he's put in his 2 bobs worth. Around the ball, Brendan Redslap and Luke Ware putting in. Alan Michael's probably their best player getting the ball forward at present. and right across that full forward line, Kenny Haywood, Jeff Davidson and Troy Shepherd, they're all finishing off the good work of their runners upfield. For South Bunbury, well, Danny Platts, he hasn't played a bad game at present, been moved to centre-half forward. He'll have to, only late in that quarter, going to be an very interesting quarter for the next one. Darren Fraser, well, they'd be lost without him in that back pocket. He's only a young guy, but he's taken it right up to lead from the very last line down there. It's a pity some of his teammates haven't taken up his example. Dave Anderson, he's been trying his heart out. Craig Watson, raving very well. Peter Hodel, he's probably looking looking after his players too much instead of playing his natural game at present. But all in all, the entire Collie side, a few South guys are looking sideways a couple of times before they actually aren't going to the ball with any conviction. But I've got confidence in them. They're a strong club. They're a strong team of footballers. The young guys, I think they know they're playing in a grand final now, so we may see a different side come out after half-time. But Collie with a very handy lead at half-time.
Well, we've got plenty happening here with half-time. We've got the Miss Southwest football contestants going around the grounds. Lovely young ladies representing each of their clubs, and they're in a big or nice-looking boat. And they'll be doing the rounds.
You made a selection, Ray. We've got to pick on everything, I've been told. Now, I've gone for Miss Bustleton. I've married a girl from Bustleton, so
you're biased then.
No, but I think she might just get the nod in front of Miss Kerry Park. Now, that's an unbiased opinion.
Unbiased.
What's yours?
Well, as a matter of fact, I haven't seen them play it, or I haven't seen them play. I'm just watching the Haywood medalist and the Times medalist and the three medalists going past here. As I said, there's a lot to keep the eye on, so I really haven't had a good look at the field in this Miss Southwest, so I really can't give an opinion. Have you cast your peepers over it, Des, have you?
No, I'm in the same boat as you, so to speak, with the girls travelling around in the boat. I don't know any of them particularly well, but I think they're all lovely young ladies, and they've all got a pretty good chance of taking it off.
Yes, there's not a lot of form exposed, but getting back to the game, I feel that the difference between the two sides, I think Collie's commitment has been far greater than now. When they have gone forward the players, they're looking around with their go through them to the Wolves a little bit early. I think the experience of ups and down there at full-back in that first quarter in particular, when the breeze was rather strong, would have been invaluable, and I think they may pay the ultimate penalty for that, Ray.
Yes, the move when they did finally change Dan Platts and Peter Upson, to me, came a little bit too late. Particularly in the first quarter, South were kicking against the breeze, and that's really when they needed Peter Upson's experience down there. They made the move about 15 minutes into the second quarter, when they realised that South weren't getting anything. It was a very, very disorganised forward line, Des, and apart from players down there in, I suppose, Peter Hodel drifting around the place, Desi Dan snapped in for a goal, but they never had a key. I thought that Neil Jackson had the call on Peter Upson.
He has, yeah. Peter Upson, even now, he hasn't been taken right back into that last line of defence where I think his experience is needed. He was moved to centre-half back, and been that last line where they've lacked the experience. So, and as you said, up forward, the South guys, they've been not running in packs. Jared Graham's done an excellent job on Jeff Deere. Very strong overhead mark, similar to what Jeff Davidson is, but I think Kerry Park made that so early last week when they took so long to cover Jeff Davidson and Kenny Haywood. It'll be interesting to see whether that has become the error of their ways again this week.
Well, when you have a look at the Collie forward line with Jeff Davidson and Kenny Haywood, they've got the two-pronged attack there, and also Kim Hetherington is doing a reasonable job at centre-half forward for them, so they've got plenty. They've got the options open to them going into that forward line, haven't they?
Their original line-up, South, of having Peter Upson in that last line with Greg Jones, he was playing some exceptional football at centre-half back, because he's an attacking player as well. He's not just a defender, and I think they're missing that attack out of that centre-half back position. I would have Greg Jones there, and I'll have Peter Upson in the full-back line, but we'll wait and see how things pan out. Jeff Davidson is a strong marker. It's the players that deliver it to him well. They put it up in front of him in the air. Very difficult to get round a guy of 15 stone or so.
Yes, it is, and he's such a strong player. I can recall that in that forward line there. He just got to Jonesy out the way with the hip and shoulder, stood his ground, and
one of the girls in a bit of problem here. There's a soft patch range. She's trying to walk with high heels.
Peter Elson's making sure.
Oh, well, this is right.
He'll do the right thing. And
They've got a good chance, boys, to make a selection now.
We're trying to discuss a game of footy here, Scott. But I will say it's a lovely collection of Australian womanhood, isn't it?
It certainly is, Ray, and those footballers on the right left are pretty good too.
Very nice.
This Southwest football for 1987. Well, there's some very nice people out in Harvey Brunswick. I enjoyed my couple of years out there as I did in Collie, so I've certainly been around there, so I can have a pick here, there and everywhere and be on a winner.
Coach, 33 points the margin in favour of Collie at this half-time interval, and as we've always made mention, that the third quarter is the vital one. Now, after the long break, South would need to come out and get about 2 or 3 very quick goals on the board, Gary.
Yes, Ray, I think the breeze has dropped right off, so maybe we're not looking at such a factor earlier. I think in the first quarter it was probably worth about, I'd guess around about 3 goals, and I think the Saints did very well in that first quarter. In the second quarter, the game became a little bit bogged down. South didn't have a lot of balance system up forward, and I think they really would need to come out in this quarter. As you look around now, there doesn't appear to be any breeze at all, so there's no excuse for not scoring in this quarter at the Halsey Street end of the ground, and I think they really need to mow this lead down and probably be pretty close to level at three-quarter time to have a chance of pulling it out of the fire. That lead is not insurmountable by any means, but they certainly aren't playing well enough in my book to win the game from here.
No, you've got to hand it to the Saints. I think the experience that they've had of their last 2 grand finals down here is starting to really pay off. They've got the steady influence in their defensive zone, and players like Jared Graham, he hasn't put a foot wrong. Neil Jackson's been a solid contributor in defence. Also David Hollins and Greg O'Brien, David Hollins in defence has been a great contributor. They're winning across the... South will be kicking against the breeze in this quarter, and down 33 points is going to be a mammoth task for them to come back, Gary.
Yes, Ray, and while we're on the subject of coming back and whatever, Darren O'Brien, the Saints